Let's talk about Netlist. What's up investors, and welcome back to another video. So I did a recent video about Netlist where I said I would do an update video soon discussing some of the matters that I left out of the first video and also elaborating on some details from the previous video. So here we go. To stay up to date with this company and other companies I cover on the channel, check out the new Facebook group and follow me on Twitter. Links in the description below, check it out. So today we'll do a quick recap of Netlist for anyone that's new. We will look at the Google case in more detail. We will look at some other cases that Netlist are involved in and possible uplisting. Then we'll look at the charts and we'll see why I'm not worried at all about this current dip. Finally, I'll give you my conclusion on Netlist. Before we get into the video, it takes a lot of time to do this research, so if you find any value in this video, can I ask you to smash that like button? It literally costs nothing and it shows me you want to see more update videos on Netlist. My last video has over 290 likes. Can I get the same again? Help me make that happen. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new content like this. If you want free money, check out Webull, who are giving away 2 free stocks worth up to $2,000 if you open an account using my referral link. Sell those stocks and buy the stocks you really want. It's basically free money. Check that out in the description. And if you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon. Are you invested in Netlist, and what is your price target in both the near term and the long term? I want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Now let's get into it. So who are Netlist? Netlist was founded in California in 2000. The company is a leading provider of high-performance SSDs and modular memory subsystems to the world's leading enterprises. Netlist specializes in hybrid memory solutions. The company's patented memory technologies provide superior performance and high density in a cost-efficient solution. Netlist has a long history of being the first to market with disruptive new products, such as the first load-reduced DIMM. Netlist was also the first to bring NAND flash to the memory channel with its in-vault technology. These innovative products built on Netlist's early pioneering work and other off-chip technology advances that result in improved performance and lower costs compared to conventional memory. Now this is an OTC stock, but that was not always the case. Up until 2018, Netlist had been listed on the NASDAQ. At this point, Netlist delisted from the NASDAQ and moved to the OTCQX, as management opted to avoid the dilutive effects of a reverse stock split to lift the company's share price. And if you're looking at this thinking fair play to management for avoiding the dilutive effects of a reverse stock split as stated, then this is a little bit misleading, because only 2 weeks earlier, Netlist shares tumbled on announcement of a share offering. Netlist decided to issue 22 million shares at a price of 45 cents, and disappointed by potential share dilution, investors sent Netlist stock down 41% to 38 cents in morning trade that day. So I think management opted to drop down to the OTCQX because it would have been terrible PR for the company to issue new shares and then announce a reverse split. This is one of the most toxic combinations that any management team can do. Netlist holds a portfolio of patents, many considered to be seminal, in the areas of hybrid memory, storage class memory, and load reduction, amongst others. The strength of Netlist's patent portfolio reflects its many years of research and development and track record of bringing disruptive new products to market. Netlist's strategy is to marry its unique board-level intellectual property with a thorough understanding of semiconductor building blocks and system-level applications to deliver performance, cost, and time to market advantages to OEMs. Their manufacturing and testing facilities are in China, but this is very much a global company with offices across the US, Canada, and Israel. This is not your average OTC company. And we can see that Netlist products here is broken into 3 main categories: enterprise SSD, embedded flash, and memory modules. Their enterprise SSDs and data center SSD, which offer capabilities from 1.6 terabyte up to 3.84 terabyte, have customization capabilities of the SSD firmware for performance, endurance, and power, along with capabilities to support thermal and mechanical modifications, provide customers a substantial differentiation in their offering. Their embedded flash drives include M2 SSDs, mSATA, Slim SATA, 2.5-inch SSD, compact flash, eUSB, eMMC, and secure digital. All of these are top of the range and offer high performance reliability at a cost-effective price. In the last video, we talked about Netlist winning their case against SK Hynix, and we mentioned briefly that Netlist has other ongoing cases, so let's take a look at these now. This article on Seeking Alpha gives a very good summary of what's been going on. So Netlist has been in litigation with Google since 2009 over allegations that Google infringed upon Netlist's seminal 912 patent. It is a hardware patent for processing commands in an LRDIMM memory module using rank multiplication. Google signed an NDA to take a look at it. It passed on the technology described in the patent. Netlist alleges that Google infringed the patent by building servers using the 912 patent technology. So Netlist sued Google on December 2009. The judge in the case ordered a random cross-section of servers to be examined, which showed that Google indeed was using technology described in the 912 patent. Then Google tried to claim the patent wasn't valid, but in court appeals in January 2019 and again in June 2020 upheld the validity of the patent. Google was granted a 6-month extension to decide if they wanted to appeal this decision to the Supreme Court, but they chose not to appeal. So in my opinion, that is that. It's over. And Netlist have won. This is like watching a football game that you know is over at half time because it's been so one-sided. However, you still have to play the second half. This has to run its course, although in my opinion, Netlist have won. So why is the 912 patent a big deal? As I said in the last video, this is a seminal patent. A seminal patent is defined as a patent that describes an invention so impactful that it creates or shifts the technology space, and this is why the case is so big. Netlist asserts that the 912 patent enabled Google to build servers with high capacity and rapid memory that allowed the servers to store an entire Oracle database in memory, which allowed lightning fast search results. The 912 patent played a large part in Google's dominance. Right now is not a question of whether Google infringed the 912 patent, that has already been established. Now, Google is at the stage where it can settle with Netlist or go to a jury trial to determine the damages. Netlist will argue that the 912 patent established Google's dominance in search, which allowed monopolist products that funded Google's entire ecosystem, while at the same time, Google's infringement of the patent prevented Netlist from establishing itself in the server memory marketplace. Netlist will likely seek billions in damages, and I completely agree with this. This technology played a major part in Google becoming a multi-trillion-dollar company, while at the same time, Netlist is worth less than $2 billion. Also, the prospect of triple damages is in play, as Netlist will allege willful infringement on Google's part. It's not as if Google accidentally stole this technology, this is very deliberate. The most likely scenario is Google will settle the case rather than risk going in front of a jury. A settlement would include a large lump sum plus licensing of the patent going forward. Similar to what we've seen with SK Hynix. And the very latest news on this is that some deadlines have been extended, as we can see here. So the next important date regarding Google is now July 30th, instead of a date that would have been this week just gone. Then we have Inphi. Netlist also sued them for infringement on the 921 patent, and now that the 912 patent was upheld, it is expected Netlist will resume court proceedings once it is finished with the Google case. Again, in terms of the size of these companies, Inphi was recently acquired by Marvel Inc. at a cost of around $10 billion. And then we have a case of Netlist versus Samsung. So back in 2015, Netlist announced that it had entered into a 5-year joint development and license agreement with Samsung Electronics to produce a new class of memory solutions based on Samsung's leading NAND flash and DRAM and Netlist's pioneering work on HyperVault. As written here, in 2018, Samsung began not to fulfill Netlist's requests or orders. Samsung deliberately began to restrict Netlist's access to products and failed to fulfill its orders, often without notice and always in violation of the agreement. By repeatedly breaching the agreement, Samsung forced Netlist to forego business opportunities, and Netlist was unable to obtain many products that Samsung provided and was required to supply under the agreement. When Samsung failed to fulfill Netlist orders, Netlist could not supply its customers and lost business opportunities and profits it otherwise would have earned. So Netlist is claiming against Samsung for breach of contract. That has had serious consequences for Netlist. Let's not forget that at the time of this disagreement, Netlist was a company listed on the NASDAQ. These breaches began in 2017, and by 2018 Netlist had dropped down from the NASDAQ onto the OTC, which we spoke about in the previous video. And if you're wondering why some of this has sections blacked out, that's because these are the official court documents and some details have to be blacked out for data privacy. So the latest news on this case came earlier this week when Netlist was granted the motion to compel depositions of Zhongbei Li and Zhu Sun Kui. Li is a president at Samsung Electronics, whereas Zhu Sun is the president of semiconductors, display and LED businesses at Samsung Device Solutions. Samsung shall produce these two for deposition in the matter before August 16th, 2021. So that'll be sometime in the next 3 weeks. So in the last video I said I would take a look into the Netlist management team. And then afterwards we will look at the charts and I'll explain to you why I'm not worried about the recent dip. Plus we'll take a look at some recent insider trading, which is very interesting. CK Hung is one of the founders of Netlist and has served as president, CEO and director since inception. Prior to Netlist, he was president and COO of Infinilink Corp. Prior to that, he was executive vice president of Viking Components, a memory manufacturing company based in California. He received a BS degree in economics from Virginia Commonwealth University and an MS degree in technology management. Then we have CFO and executive vice president Gail Sasaki, who has over 30 years of experience in financial planning and strategic transactions in technology companies. Since joining Netlist in 2006, she helped take the company public, and before Netlist, she served as Senior VP of Finance and Treasurer at eMotion, which was previously a subsidiary of Eastman Kodak, CFO of Micronet Technology, and worked for many years as a CPA with Ernst & Young. This is all very impressive, and we'll talk more about Gail in just a moment. Finally, a mention here for Raj Gandhi, Vice President of IC Engineering. He came to Netlist from Marvel Inc., who we spoke about a moment ago, as they are the company that bought Imphi. So I've seen it pop up a few times in the last few weeks that CFO Gail Sasaki has been selling huge amounts of Netlist shares in recent weeks, so let's take a look at that. As we can see here, it is true that she has been selling shares, but it's important to note that these sales have been made at the same time that she has exercised her rights regarding share options. Now think about this from a logical point of view. If you could buy any stock and sell it at twice the price instantly, wouldn't you do it? Regardless of what interest that you had in the stocks, it just makes sense. All I take from this is that Miss Sasaki is happy with her current shareholding, but obviously she's going to take up her rights to buy shares far below market value and then sell them. It would be stupid not to do this. So I have absolutely no concerns here with her selling shares. So this is the chart that I drew in my last video. And we can see here from this green arrow where I thought that the share price was going to hit this level of resistance and drop back down towards this line of support, as we had been moving in this channel for quite some time. But on Friday we broke straight through this support and dropped all the way down below $7. But there was a very quick reversal which brought the price right back to its current price of $7.92. This does not worry me at all, and let me show you why. We've been here before. Look at this chart. It's practically identical back on the 6th of July, where we had been moving in this channel between the yellow and purple lines before a sudden spike to $6 was followed by a rapid decline down to only $4.30. And as we know, this didn't last very long. Netlist Stock has been doing this all year. We've seen this back at the start of March, where we ran from under $1 to over $2 before it then had a little drop back again. And then in April, the stock went from $1.60 up to over $3 before again dropping back. And now we've seen it go up to $10 and drop back to $8. So I'm seeing the exact same pattern repeating over and over again, so I'm not concerned by this. So guys, that brings us to the end of the video. Before I give you my final thoughts, if you've enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button. Remember, Webull are giving away 2 free stocks worth up to $2,000. Check out the link in the description below. And if you're new around here, remember to hit that subscribe button and bell notification, follow me on Twitter and join the new Facebook group. All links in the description. So what do I think? My opinion on Netlist has not changed over the past week. In my last video, the share price was only $7 and I predicted it to reach $10 before a bit of a pullback. Now it has dropped a little bit more than I expected, but looking at the 6-month chart, we can see that it has done this time and time again. I've spent a lot of my free time over the past few weeks researching Netlist, And I know that there are too many upcoming catalysts in the near future for this not to continue to have a lot of interest. Look at the case with Google. The patents that have been infringed are considered seminal, meaning this was game-changing technology at the time. This went on for more than 10 years. And this case is finally coming to an end. Finally, Google will have to pay out, and the payout will be in the billions. Then look at the case against Inphi and Samsung. All of these are providing catalysts. And then there's the added possibility that is seeming more and more likely every day, that Netlist will try to get back onto the NASDAQ. Again, this would provide further catalysts, and to be honest, I see no reason why management won't do this in the near future. As always guys, this is just my opinion. If anyone is thinking of buying this stock, I encourage you to do your own research and only invest money that you can afford to lose. As I said before, I'm not a financial advisor, this is not financial advice. Thanks for watching the video. What are your thoughts on the future of Netlist? What is your price target? And how long do you think before Netlist apply to get back on the NASDAQ? If there's something you'd like me to discuss in the next video, leave a comment down below and I'll catch you in the next update.